Hello everyone, my name is Katie and I am a 5th year teacher this year and I'm so glad you're here for today's video. Alright, I'm sure you're excited by the title, so I will just cut to the chase. This video is to announce that I have a new teaching job for the 2022-2023 school year. If you are new here or you haven't watched my last couple of vlogs, I announced in my very last vlog from last school year that I would be looking for a new job and moving schools. David and I bought a house in the area that we were in, and I really wanted to find an option that was closer to where we were going to live because we kind of moved to the opposite side of town from where my school was. So I was just looking for a good fit and another job that's going to be closer to our home. I have taught first grade for 4 years, and so I was a little bit nervous as I got on the application portal for my district and saw a lot of upper elementary positions, and I really only had like 5 or so schools that I was looking at because I really wanted something that was on our side of town. So for a while there, I was really starting to panic and feeling like I wasn't going to find anything or find a good fit for me, but I'm really excited to share with you today how my new position came along. So anything that was posted from those 5 schools, I applied to. I emailed principals, I sent them my resume, I applied for any position I could find, and I went to an interview fair for my district like the very first week we were out of school. In fact, it was like right before I went on vacation with David to Orlando. So he left for his work convention that morning. I did an interview that afternoon, like an interview fair, job fair thing, and then I got in the car right after that and drove all the way to Orlando in my interview clothes, so that was fun. But I'm really excited because I feel like that interview fair was super helpful because I was able to go to the 5 tables for the schools that I was looking for, shake hands with staff members, meet the principal, drop off my resume, and from that interview fair, I landed 3 different interviews at separate times. So it was just kind of like a little meet and greet thing, and we scheduled interviews. So I was actually able to schedule 3 interviews from that. So I had a lot of success. I would recommend if you're looking for a job, see if there are any job fairs for teachers or districts in your area, because that was a great way for me to kind of put my name out there with a lot of people at once. I also followed up after that job interview fair, and I emailed the principals that I'd spoken with and just said, thank you so much for speaking with me today. Looking forward to hearing from you. I've applied to XYZ positions at your school, etc., etc. So just kind of another checkpoint of conversation. Well, from that, I landed 3 interviews, and my first one fell during the week. A bug just dropped from the ceiling. Okay, give me 1 second. I'm gonna kill a bug and I'll be back. Okay, I am back. The bug is not. It was like a big old ant, and it just fell from the top of the window onto the window ledge and then jumped up onto one of my backpacks down here on the floor, so I had to go get it. Anyways, the joys of home ownership right there, finding bugs and cleaning and all the things we've been doing in May. Anyways, okay, now I need to get back on track. Okay, so the first interview I actually scheduled at the job fair, and the principal asked if I could interview on Monday. And I was like, sure, yeah, sounds great. I'll be out of town, but I can do Zoom. So she scheduled a Zoom interview. Well, then I get in the car and David was like, you can't interview on Monday. We're going to be at Universal Studios. And I was like, dang it. So when I got to Orlando that evening, I emailed the principal and asked if she would be able to reschedule my interview. And she did. She scheduled it for that Friday, which was like 2 days after the interview fair. And y'all, this is the only interview. I scheduled 3. This is the only one I took because I sat down in the hotel room to do this interview and I was so nervous. I had not interviewed for a teaching job in a long time. I was feeling very unmotivated to look at the teaching questions. I think just after a long school year, my brain was like, I really just didn't want to sit down and answer the tell me about yourself, tell me about your teaching style, all of the typical interview things. I did watch one interview video, and it was from Michelle at Pocketful of Primary. It has thousands and thousands of views on YouTube. I will link it in the cards for you, so if you are trying to prepare for an interview, it's a great resource because she gives like the top 10 questions and also gives her sample answers. So I listened to that video twice, and I planned out my answers for like 2 or 3 of those questions, but was just really feeling unmotivated to do it. And I know that sounds terrible. I think it's because the school year had just ended, and I don't know, it just wasn't, I mean, preparing for interviews isn't fun, but I just couldn't motivate myself to do it. So when I sat down for this interview, like I was prepared, but I was nervous. and I just didn't know what to expect. But then as soon as we got started, it was so much better. Like, if you're a first year teacher and you're trying to find your first teaching job, interviewing is difficult because you don't have a lot of experience to go off of. But this one was so easy breezy because I've got 4 years of teaching experience. So when they asked me a question, it was so easy for me to answer it because I already knew the answer. Like, I didn't have to sit there and think, okay, what would the textbook say? Or what would I like to do? I could just say, oh yeah, this is how I communicate with parents. Yeah, I fostered that class community in my classroom, and this is how I did it last year in my room. And it was just very conversational. Y'all, the interview was an hour long. Like, I just felt really good at the end of it. And I was like, man, even if I don't get an offer from that interview, like, I felt good signing out on Zoom. I would say walking away. I felt good like signing out on Zoom and could say to myself, like, I truly did my best in that interview. So even if I don't get a position, I won't beat myself up over it because it just wasn't a good fit if that's the case, because I really felt like I did well in that interview. So the interview was for a 3rd grade or a 4th grade position. And they had some team members from both of those grades in the interview. And yeah, so they were like, well, we'll let you know. And I was like, sounds great. And they were interviewing the rest of the candidates that Monday that I couldn't do because I was out of town, yada, yada. So I had another interview scheduled for a 5th grade job. And then I had another interview scheduled for like a variety of different openings at a school. So here comes Monday and we go to Universal Studios. It's actually the day that I vlogged for y'all. So if you want to see a fun day in my summer life vlog, I'll link that above too. And if you get to the part where we're in line for Minions, that's when I got a call from that principal, and I was like, crap, I'm standing in the queue line. All the TVs have the Minions singing "Eat a la banana" and like making all the laughing noises. I was like, I can't answer because I won't be able to hear anything. So I let it roll to voicemail, and I was like, okay, it's either going to be an offer or it's going to be thank you for interviewing. We've already filled the position, blah, blah, blah. So then we like rounded the corner and I had a little doorway that I could step into, and like the iPhone will do the speech to text for your voicemails. So I was standing there trying to get it to load, standing in this little walkway, and then finally I heard it, and she offered me a job for 3rd grade. And I was very, very, not torn, I was very thrilled. Like, I was so excited. I couldn't call back in that moment because I was at Universal Studios, but long story short, I was able to get in touch with her the next day and tell her that I accepted the job, and I was so excited. This school, I feel like, is going to be a very, very good fit. And the only thing that makes me nervous is that it's not 1st grade, but honestly, like, I'm ready to teach something different. I've loved 1st grade, and I really feel like I got the hang of teaching phonics, just to be finished with 1st grade, but 3rd graders need phonics stuff too, and I shared that with them in my interview a lot too, that a lot of these kiddos had rocky schooling for kindergarten and 1st and 2nd, and so having a strong background in phonics will serve me well with this group of kiddos. And I don't know, maybe I'll just really end up loving 3rd grade as well. I've heard lots of great things from my friends who teach 3rd grade. So I'm nervous about that, but I'm very excited. I already have the keys to my room. I've already been able to go in and set things up and meet teachers, and it's exhausting starting over again. I don't feel like it was like exactly a year ago that I posted this same video for my last job, and it is exhausting starting in a new school, meeting all these people, setting up a new room, learning how kids line up, learning where all the rooms are, learning what the bell schedule is, learning how this school does this procedure, and then I'm throwing in learning a new grade level on top of all of that. So I think it's going to be a lot, but I think it's really going to stretch me, and I'm just really hoping that this year is going to be the best year of teaching yet. It should go back to a little bit of normalcy after all of the COVID stuff, which we haven't had in a while. So I'm hoping that will be helpful. I'm also excited to be moved into a house. There are just lots of exciting things happening right now in my life. Yeah, that's like the only way to describe it. It's just, I'm excited. I'm really excited. I also have a friend who teaches at this school, so that helps too. Yeah, that's all. I'm going to gel well with my team this year. I can just tell. And it's going to be a good year. But I did want to make a video to just announce that on my channel. I didn't even end up going to the next 2 interviews because I just felt so good about this position, and I shared it with my mom, and she responded and was like, hey, I'm praying that God would just open doors and make it really clear if this is the opportunity you need to take. And then after her and I talked about it, she was like, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, like, I don't know how many more signs you need. Like, this just feels right. And I was like, it does. And so I'm very grateful because I've prayed for a good position. This will be a good fit for me, and it's what God has for my next step, even though it's in 3rd grade. So if you have any 3rd grade accounts that you like to follow, 3rd grade tips that you want to share, please drop them in the comments below. Help a sister out, because this is going to be a learning curve for me this year. But I'm really excited, and I'm excited to take you guys along. So if you like this video, or if you're excited for my new job like I am, please give this video a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any teaching content that I have coming up. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one.